for he was frustrated and fed up, and what he badly needed was to satisfy a basic human need, the need for some kind of physical release.
Hi, GrandmasterSethy here. Today we will be discussing the literary classic Those Who Trespass by Bill O'Reilly, a novel of murder, intrigue, TV journalism, and sex. What you just heard was the opening clip to the novel, and it's a scene in which a bitter news journalist propositions, we'll say, a coworker to help advance her career by maybe subjecting herself to an unwanted sexual situation. I'm going to be doing book review, analysis, my interpretations of the novel, and also as a special treat for all of you, I will be including a lot of audio clips from the novel read by the author, Bill O'Reilly himself. One by one, high-level executives and correspondents are being murdered. Soon it becomes clear that the killings are linked. The work of a bitter former newsman exacting revenge on those who derailed his career. So it's about the news television business, and it says here this author, Bill O'Reilly, worked in the news business at some point, so I guess he's familiar with the industry and knows a lot of the inner workings. So I'm sure that is part of what made this such a rich experience. So let's get straight to it. I'll play a clip for you, and we'll be back with some discussion.
She was slowly meandering toward him, her hips discreetly swaying. His intense sexual hunger was apparent to anyone who bothered to notice. Let's get out of here. I have some really good weed back at the hotel. Ron, you know I don't smoke. Besides, what would your wife say? We're separated. Oh, bullshit, Ron. She's in D.C., and I'm here. That's separated, Suzanne. Her friends at GNN had warned her about the lecherous correspondent. His wire-like lips gave him a perpetually cruel expression, and that belly hanging over his belt. No way she was buying into this. Listen, love, I'm giving you a great opportunity here. You could be back in New York doing ambush interviews for the tabloid shows. Instead, you're on this beautiful island with the first family. But that could end very fast. Are you threatening me, Ron? The woman asked, suddenly a bit more sober. Not at all, just reminding you of your good fortune.
So yeah, obviously great writing, compelling opening scene, really draws you in to the situation. Obviously this author, O'Reilly, isn't one to do that himself, but that's the mark of a great novelist, is being able to inhabit a character completely unlike yourself and just enter their psyche and their world, even if it's, disgusting and creepy. But the fact that he's able to use his expertise as a news journalist and to create a character who would do such a thing, he has talent. He has a lot of talent. So this next scene, I would imagine a lot of the literary critics, when they're discussing this, are debating how much of a cause and effect relationship this scene has to do with the rest of the plot. They would argue that it has nothing to do with the plot, and they would be right, but while it lacks a cause and effect relationship with the plot itself, there really is an emotional cause and effect relationship going on here.
Robo used his product only occasionally, but tonight was special. He had two 15-year-old girls who would do anything for the drug, and he was determined to exploit the situation. Say, baby, put down that pipe and get my pipe up, Robo said to one of the girls. She was so intoxicated she had trouble standing, but Robo was her sugar daddy, and as he sat in a filthy imitation leather couch there in the living room of a rundown 3-room apartment, she obediently performed oral sex on him. 5 feet away, the other teenage girl sat on a mattress on the floor and watched, greedily sucking on a crack pipe Robo had passed to her. Edgar looked over and grinned, showing yellow, decaying teeth. Obviously, he preferred oral sex to oral hygiene.
Truly, we are in the hands of a master.
The early 80s were a great time to be young and single in New York City. The disco era was still alive. The nightclubs of Manhattan throbbed with energy, excitement, and daring. No one had heard of AIDS, and apparently few had heard of sexual restraint.
Wow. It's like he he didn't write that scene. He created a time machine and transported us back to the 80s. As you'll hear in this next clip, this author, Bill O'Reilly, um, worked in the news industry, as I mentioned earlier, and you could tell the man did his research.
I hear TV news is a bitch of a business.
That's what I heard too. The man is just plain old clever. But don't let me tell you that. Listen,
Whoever did this crime knew what he was doing. It was a very clean hit. That's all I can say. So you're saying it was a professional who did this? Ashley asked. The guy could bat cleanup for Murder Incorporated. Ashley wrote that down. It was a great line.
oh man. Now, in this next scene, is when things really start to get going. So, how do I put this? Things get sexy.
Working his hands down each side of her spine, Shannon was careful not to apply too much pressure. His technique was to continually knead and lightly stretch her skin through the soft cotton shirt. Her mind was floating, and she was seriously relaxed. Then Shannon's hands encircled each of her biceps, lightly squeezing them. At the same time, he bent his face forward, softly placing his tongue on the right side of her neck. In an upward motion, his tongue advanced on her skin to just below her earlobe. Goosebumps appeared on Ashley's body. This guy really knows what he's doing, she thought. Shannon decided to accelerate the foreplay. Moving his hands forward, he cupped Ashley's breasts over her shirt. He felt her taut nipples and was surprised at the fullness of her breasts. From rubbing her back, he knew that she wasn't wearing a brassiere. Ashley was becoming excited, but not ready to go any further. I think we should stop now, she said in a husky voice. Don't worry, I'm almost finished. Ashley's shoulders sagged into a passive slouch, and she felt Shannon gently tweak her nipples with his thumbs and forefingers. He then began to move his fingers in a light circular motion. Her breasts strained against her shirt. Shannon then lightly bit the back of her neck while continuing to massage her breasts. That's all for tonight, he said. But if you want to learn more about Thailand, I'm available next Saturday.
This guy really knows what he's doing. Oh, and for the record, I'm not wearing a brassiere. Not only is this book great when it comes to the sexy stuff, it's great when it comes to the character stuff. Okay? This guy O'Reilly isn't so much a writer as he is an artist painting portraits of our souls.
There was something about his face. It was open and honest, and Tommy didn't look like he was hiding any dark secrets. He was kind of good-looking, not classically handsome like Shannon Michaels. He could lose a few pounds, but with his large frame, he looked stocky rather than fat, very masculine.
Wow, that was really great. He's like a modern day Dickens, but better. Another thing that is done brilliantly in this work of art is this author has the unique ability to bring up sex all the time. Here's a couple of examples where sex seemingly has nothing to do with what's going on, but O'Reilly finds a way to insert the sex. Take a look.
He tried not to stare at her for too long at one stretch, but thought that Ashley was the first woman he had ever known who looked sexy even while chewing a mouthful of food. He was seriously turned on. Detective, are you genuinely concerned for my welfare? Ashley smiled. Yeah, I guess I am. How nice. Ashley grinned. Now, enough of this. I want to talk about sex.
While it takes place in the 90s, its story and its impact will live on forever, I believe.
No problem. I'll fax you directions.
Okay, so I know we laugh about the outdated technology. What this really emphasizes is that um, great works of art are timeless, which brings us to our next scene. Okay. I don't want to oversell this, but I'm I'm quite confident in saying that this is the greatest scene ever written by a human being. No introduction is needed or even possible. It's going to be a little bit more of an extended clip, but you're going to want to stick around and listen to this. Trust me. It is, it will change your life. It changed mine, and yeah, yeah, so, yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't have words to describe this, so I just made noises. Um, just sit back and get ready for genius.
Shannon Michaels stoked up the fire in his immense living room. Luther Vandross played softly on the stereo. Ashley sat on the couch, her slender legs curled up under her skirt. The house was seductively cozy. Tell you what, let's play a little game before you go. Shannon very subtly licked his top lip. Ashley noticed. So what are the rules? Okay, we sit across from each other, about 10 feet apart. Then each of us gets a turn. You can ask me to do anything that doesn't require me to get up. Then I ask you. Pretty simple, right? Oh, and one more thing. You can stop the game at any time by refusing to do what you're asked. So if the game is boring or you feel uncomfortable, you can quit. And so can I. Okay, I'll go first. Take off your shoes.
Oh, we're just getting started, baby. Woo!
Now, Ash, take your right hand and rub your left thigh from the hip to the knee 4 times. Make sure you do it very slowly. Oh, I see where this is going. But she looked him straight in the eye and began moving her right hand up and down her dark stockings. The game progressed. Ashley asked Shannon to take off his shoes. He asked her to unbutton her shirt. The truth be told, she was becoming increasingly excited. Okay, Shannon Michaels, off with those pants. Ashley took it all in. He was wearing Calvin Klein briefs, black. Her eyes moved downward from his slim hips to his legs. She tried not to stare at his crotch, even though she saw movement there. I would like you to unhook your bra and let it slide down your arms. You can keep your shirt on. Not only was she holding her breasts aloft, she was gently caressing them. He knew she was getting extremely aroused. Shannon Michaels ended the game with 2 words: I quit. He then dropped to the floor, kneeling before Ashley, pushing her skirt up to her waist. Using a fair amount of pressure, he kissed her inner thighs, using his lips and tongue. His hands reached the waistband of her hose. Shannon gently gave a tug, and Ashley lifted her hips. He slipped the hose down to her ankles, all the while continuing to knead her skin with his tongue. Ashley climaxed twice before the two got up from the couch and climbed the stairs to the master bedroom. Shannon Michaels felt energized. He had accomplished his goal. His primary euphoria came from knowing that Ashley was enjoying every bit of his expertise. After more than an hour of lovemaking, the couple fell asleep. As the flaming shadows danced across the walls, all their thoughts of tomorrow were put to rest.
Wow. So that entire scene was fantastic. Now, it's already a classic. It's already a great novel. But this this scene itself just launched it into the upper echelons of literary greatness. I'm talking about we're in the canon. We are the canon now at this point. So I know it's a long scene, but let me tell you, the scene works. Okay, it works because it's just so damn good. Wow. Okay, moving forward. Another one of the great things that this book was able to accomplish was it brought sarcasm to new heights. I've never seen sarcasm go so high. Take a listen.
Upon entering the apartment, Tommy's ears met a loud, pulsating noise that seemed to resemble music. What's that you got on the stereo, Ash? Hootie and the Blowfish. Whatty and the Who Fish? Tommy rolled his eyes. They're really good, Ash. Tommy brought sarcasm to new heights.
See? So O'Reilly, he does it all. He's got the wisdom and sage advice of a wizard and someone of experience, and he also has the raw sexual energy of the youth.
The computerized graphics he championed lit up the TV screen. His whiz-bang approach gave the newscast a high-tech look that younger audiences found especially appealing.
The reading and the audiobook is just so good. It's hard to ignore. You've got the gravitas, you've got the cadence, you've got the pronunciations of the words. I mean, get real. This guy, he does it all. When he's writing sex, you feel like you're in bed with him. When he's writing news, you feel like you're watching him on the telly. There's a scene where he's in Ireland, one of the characters, and you just feel the local accents and flavors.
Good of you to come, lad. Is it a beer you'll be having?
It's like going to Ireland, right?
Murphy Brown was getting old, not Candace Bergen. She was holding up just fine.
Now, I do have just one criticism of the book. There's a scene, he gets a little too political for my taste. I know he's a novelist, but I don't know, it just kind of sneaks in there a little bit. So I'll play this one clip and then I'll discuss my one criticism.
Tommy, of course, had not even thought about Christmas yet, but seeing the seasonal displays, he knew exactly what he wanted his Christmas present to be. Shannon Michaels in handcuffs.
Okay, so here's my complaint. I'm tired of this war on Christmas, okay? Tommy hasn't even thought about Christmas yet. These seasonal displays, call them what they are. They are Christmas displays, not seasonal displays or winter solstice displays. They are Christmas, okay? Just say it. And what's this? He wants a man in handcuffs as his present? I mean, okay. All right. O'Reilly, we love you as an artist, but please just leave your liberal politics out of it, okay? So I just had to rant about that. That's my only criticism of an otherwise genius work of art.
I wish I were a lesbian.
Don't we all?
It was clear to all involved that some major heat was on this tall guy with the mustache.
The mark of a great novelist is being able to identify the hidden subtleties of human nature.
Minibar attendants did not usually wear pork pie hats while on duty.
It's like, I know, right? I mean, it's one of those things you don't think about consciously, but after he says it, you're like, yeah, that's true. That's like, it's like he's writing about all of us. And to be able to observe our nature, his own nature, like that, I think just shows us what life is really like and what we are really like.
Minibar attendants did not usually wear pork pie hats while on duty.
Oh, and here's a great line.
Fortunately for him, his nerve endings then went dead, and he couldn't feel the razor-sharp box-cutter blade slice through his throat. It's a cutthroat business you're in, Worthington.
Now, this next clip was a little confusing for me.
Life had changed dramatically for Ashley Van Buren. She signed contracts which guaranteed her close to $500,000, and she didn't even have to write the book. A professional collaborator, a ghost in writing parlance, would be brought in to help her bang out the text.
And she didn't even have to write the book. Now, what's funny is, like when you have a legit author like this, obviously to them that's like a hack move. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I feel like there's, I feel like there's a subtle irony about this whole thing, about this whole book, that I'm just not grasping. I I guess that's just on me though.
Tommy O'Malley was naked and at attention. Drowning is not an option, he said, unless, of course, you beg me to perform unnatural acts right here in this shower. Out of confusion and chaos, Ashley Van Buren had found clarity and happiness. And as she wrapped her slender arms around Tommy's thick neck, she hoped those new feelings would deepen and last forever.
Devastating. Okay, so here's my final book review. It's an all-time great novel. 5 stars, of course. It's been about 20 years, and this is his only novel. So, I don't know why other works haven't been published yet. I mean, I know to get quality, it takes a long time. So you have Flaubert took 7 years to write Madame Bovary. Tolstoy, I think, took even longer for War and Peace. So, I mean, that's 20 years. I feel like he has to have at least like 2 masterpieces that he's just sitting on, waiting to release. I can't wait, but I don't know if it's been 20 years. I think he's probably one of those authors who just is just really humble and quiet and just cares about the art and doesn't want to publish. He doesn't want the attention. He just wants to write, kind of like a J.D. Salinger maybe. And after his death, then we'll see publication of his other great works. So, I know this sounds wrong, but I can't wait for Bill O'Reilly to die. Well, on that note, I hope you enjoyed my book review and my analysis and commentary and my inclusion of audio clips from the work itself. So, okay, bye.
Minibar attendants did not usually wear pork pie hats while on duty.